Hi everyone, in this Python lesson we are going to learn about variable, how we are going to use variable in Python. Let's get started. We have a variable in Python, and before going to Python and just coding exactly what is variable, you should understand that anything which will change its state or position or its value is called variable. Variable means that you are going to change the value of something. Okay, for example, if I am going to print in first lesson we have already learned that whenever you are going to make any string and you want that to be in the output, then you are going to just write print, and then you are going to write the statement or the sentence. Okay, for example, I will write that is the variable lesson, and we are going to render that one, and you can see that we have a result that is variable lesson. And how about if I'm going to assign some like later to the sentence? For example, I will write message is equal to, and we are going to write in quotation mark, that is the variable lesson, and we are going to enter and render that one. Now you can see nothing in the output. The reason that we have not just assigned any print function on that one. Now what we are going to do, we are going to write print, and we have parentheses, and we are going to just call the variable which we have given the value. For example, the message is a variable, and we have the value which is that is the variable lesson. And when I'm going to just run that program, then you will get exactly the same message which we have done here. Now why we are going to use variable? Because we are going to we can just for example, we are going to use variable again and again in different programming language, and that is the reason that we are going to use variable, and we are going to easily access the variable anytime which we want. For example, if I want to just print that long sentence 3 or 4 times, then what I'm going to do, print message, and again print message. Easily we can just run that program with message. Okay, now one thing you should remember, whenever you are going to assign variable and you are going to call that variable in print function, then you are not going to use like quotation mark. Okay, we are using without quotation mark. However, if you are going to use quotation mark, what will happen? Then now you are going to learn. For example, I just say print, and we are going to use quotation mark, and I'm going to write message. Then it will just render the message, because we are saying that it is not variable. We are assigning a string to the print, and the print is understanding that that message is not variable which we have here, but it is itself a message, itself a string which the print will, or the Python will just render, and we will get at the output as a message. Therefore you should understand that whenever you are going to use variable, you should not use quotation mark on print function. Okay, now again, if I'm going to use, we have just used variable for the string. We can also use for the integers. For example, x is equal to 2, and we have y is equal to, for example, 5. And now if I'm going to print x, then you will get 2 because x is equal to 2. And if you are going to print y, and that is equal to 5. Now that is the simplicity of the variable. You can also use, for example, z is equal to, and add that 2 variables. And now when I'm going to print, for example, z variable, you will get, for example, 2 plus 5, which is equal to 7. Now that is how the beauty of the variable is, and how we are going to use very easily and quickly and call that variable. But remember one thing, whenever you are going to use, for example, two data types, one is string and one is like integer, I'm going to call var, which is variable, and in here I'm going to use like string str, okay, and I will call hello Python. Okay, now what I am going to use, I will use one more variable, and that is integer. Okay, for variable integer you are going to use, for example, 3. Now how about if I'm going to add variable string with variable integer? Okay, for example, I will call combine vars, it means variables, and I'm going to say var string and plus var underscore integer. And when I'm going to just run that script or that code, you will get data type error. Okay, and you are going to get the error like can only concatenate str, okay, string, not integer. It means we only can combine two strings, not integer. We are using integer here 3, which is not possibly string, therefore we cannot concatenate that two. Concatenate means that we are going to combine that two once. Okay, now we are going to do two things. We have two information here. Either we are going to say that string and we are going to use str, and we have parenthesis, and in parenthesis we are going to write 3, and when I'm going to run once again that program, and no more you will get like this error. Now it means that you are not going to add two data types at the same time. Okay, either it should be string or both should be integers. Now in case of integers, you already learned that z is equal to x plus y. We have x and y, which both were like integers, and here we are just telling the Python that 3 is not integer, but we have used a function where built-in function where we have just called that it is a string, not an integer, then we did not get any error. Now if I'm going to print, for example, let me run all these, and when I'm going to print, okay, when I'm going to print combine string, combine vars, then what we will get, like hello Python and 3. We cannot add a string with integers. One more thing we can do, and we can just say that string we always use without quotation mark, integers we are going to use without quotation mark. If I'm going to run once again, and you will get like error, and if you are going to use simply quotation mark, then again Python will understand that now 3 is not integer, it is a string, and when you are going to run the program, then again you will get the same result. Either you can use str, string, and parenthesis the integer you are going to write, or you can just use the quotation mark. It could be double quotation mark or single quotation mark, and the Python will get like it is like a string. Okay, now that is how simply you are going to use variable in the Python program. One more thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to make you understand that when you are going to use, for example, I have t, which is equal to the text. Okay, now one equal sign means that it is assigning, we are assigning the value text to the t. Okay, for example, print, we are going to print t and we get text. Now we are assigning that text, that string, to that variable t. We use one equal sign. If you are going to use like if I'm going to say that 5 is equal to 5, okay, now when I'm going to print, I will get error. Okay, now it is saying I'm assigning 5 which is equal to 5, which is not possibly in the case of integer. Now if I'm going to say that 5 is equal to 5, then we are going to use 2 equal sign. Now when I'm going to run that program, and you will get the value which is true, means yeah, we know that 5 is equal to 5. When you are going to use 1 equal sign, it means you are assigning the value, and we cannot assign the value. For example, if I assign the value of the 4 to the 5, then we use 1 equal sign or 1 equal, then you will get like an error, and the error is like keyword cannot be an expression. Now see, the keyword cannot be expression, therefore we cannot do that one. Either we can say that t is equal to 5. Okay, now t is equal to 5. In print, we have to just make that t is an invalid keyword argument for the print, and we also can use quotation mark. Okay, now we made all these things, and string, you can get the result. Or either you can just do one thing. If you are going to see the equality sign, for example 4 is double equal to 5, which Python will understand that check the equality, either these two values are equal or not, then we will get the output as false. Now we have learned two things: one, variable, and second, how to assign values to the variables, how we can add variables to each other, either it is string or it is integer. We cannot add both of them together, but we can add same integers to the integers, and same like we have strings to the strings, and we use 1 equal sign for the assigning variable and 2 equal sign for just checking that either it is equal or not equal. And for the future lesson, we also use double equal sign most of the time for the checking the value of the variable or anything which is true or false. I hope you got the idea that how Python will work with variable and assigning the variable. If you have questions, just drop that in comment box below. If you have any more points which you want to add with me, just also add in the comment box below. If you like that video, thumbs up, and also share with your friends. If you have not subscribed my channel, then please subscribe for more future videos. Thank you everyone.